We're so far one way with Manchester United and we're so far the other way wanting to sing Grimsby Town's praises, and rightfully so. But just on the United front, Grella, is this the lowest point of Manchester United?
Yeah, or if it's not, I mean, you could split hairs. It's close to it, right? And for me, and I hate to be the guy sitting here and watching the game, sitting with my butt in the chair and then judging other guys, right? But for me, this is a sackable offense. I mean, you lost to a 4th division team, but not only you lost, like Nigel says, you were outcompeted. You lost in every department of the game. Then you're hiding. There's too many things. If you're a Man United fan or you're in part of the ownership, aside from the fact that he has a 3-year deal and you don't want to pay him out, right? Aside the fact that you're married to the guy, there's nothing there. This project is over for me in my eyes. There's nothing there to take away from this game. There's no characters within the team. There's no personality within the team. The days of Steve Bruce, Roy Keane, Neville, Vidic, Rooney, Carrick, those were the captains. Those were the guys. But those were the guys that would say, these are the standards here at this club, in this country, the way we want to play football, the way we're going to play football, right? And you could never drop below them. Who's that guy now? They don't even have one of those guys in the team. So when you sign players and when you watch performances, you're signing people first before the player, right? We could look at Onana and say, oh, yeah, but shot stopping and this and that. By the way, he touched 4 penalties, couldn't save him, right? But it's the character. And these guys, they all went to hide. They all went to hide in this game for large periods of this game.
Can you even sack Ruben Amorim at this point because they've just given him $220 million to spend on 3 or 4 players in the attack this summer? So if you're restarting this project and paying him off his contract to Manchester United, even in a position, Nigel, to change directions?
Would you be surprised? Have you seen the chaotic and idiotic mistakes that Manchester United have made throughout the recent years? So I wouldn't be surprised if they did do it. For me, again, I'm with Grella. I don't see this project working. I'm tired of hearing it. Ruben Amorim, for me, I don't think realises he's at Manchester United and managing Manchester United. This is what comes with it. I think he's a great manager. I think he's got good potential. I think Manchester United's too much for him. It's too much of a big club for him. I have not seen any progression. I have not seen any player in this system get better. I've seen more questions than answers. He's had opportunity to bring a few players in. I still don't see that progress. Like we talked about, they play Arsenal the first game of the season. We could beat any Premier League team on this day. You just lost. Football's about winning. When everyone talks about, oh, style of play and philosophy, one of the clubs that everyone talks about the most is Real Madrid. There's no one can sit here and tell me what's Real Madrid's style of playing philosophy. It's called winning. You win football matches. I just don't see this getting any better right now. You talk about team selection today, and the things that he says in the press, in the media, don't help him. I do not understand what he says half the time. You talk about Ungate and Mainu starting today. You compared Mainu and Bruno Fernandes, the same player, saying that Mainu has to fight and get his place in the team and he's competing with Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, but isn't this a game on paper where you're a manager and you think, OK, I should be able to make 8 changes today?
Yeah, for sure. There's one more person, though, that's more responsible than Ruben Amorim, that is more responsible for the results and for the performances. It's the guy who hired him. Right? Whoever hired him and said, we're going to give this guy a 3-year deal, we're going to buy into this project, we're going to be committed to him, clearly doesn't understand what Man United is either. They don't understand what for me, you always have to bring in a manager that knows how to deal with these type of players, with these type of situations. He was an unproven guy. He came in, he's clearly weighing over his head, and this performance tells me everything. For me, it's a sackable offense. I hate to be the guy that come here and say that, but for me, I haven't seen anything from start to finish. Was it 29 games, 28 points?
28 points.
Yeah.
But also,
we're talking about all breaking records for all the wrong reasons.
But let's also be careful as well. Before he came to Manchester United, let's not forget that he was flirting with other Premier League clubs. Before he went to Man United, he was once linked to West Ham, which didn't go down too well with Sporting because he was flirting with other clubs. So he was wanting to come to the Premier League. But I just think that this club is too big for him. And Grella makes a great point, and so does Tony, about when you talk about leaders and the past stuff, you're Manchester United manager, whether you like it or not, stand there with your chest high. Your team's in penalties, you're sitting on the bench like this. You're the manager. You're supposed to be front and centre there with your coaching staff, whether you like penalties or not, standing there to say, that's our leader. How are you the manager of the football club and you're sitting on the bench? I understand people might have, what's the word I'm looking for? Superstitious, that's the word. Thank you for saving me. I know people might be superstitious, but for me, that's not good enough. Yeah. This is the reality of where you're at right now. You're at Manchester United. This is what comes with it. And when you want to be a football player, Tone, Grella, would you ever turn down the chance to join a big club or a bigger club saying, oh, I'm not ready for it?
No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
You know, you have to take the job. Yeah, that doesn't mean you're right for the job.
Yes.
And in the end, I look at this team, and I know we got to go to break, but I look at, I don't have an English football team to root for, right? It's not. I love the league. I love everything about
Man
it.
United.
I love all of it. But I feel like I watch every week, and teams like Liverpool and City for 6 years, and Arsenal, they find ways to win. I watch this team every week just to see which way they're going to lose the game, which way they're going to blow the game and give it away right now.
It's like a AAA baseball team, isn't it, playing the New York Yankees? So we know that's the order of magnitude of the scale. But it represents an opportunity for us to promote the football club, the town, and our whole community on a national and international audience. So, we go into the one that whistle blows, it's 11 against 11. They say, on paper they should beat us, but it's not played on paper. It's going to be played in front of 9,000 Grimsby fans. So we're excited about it. It's a classic underdog story, right? It's this idea that if you have all the resources in the world, all the money in the world, like people like United or the Yankees, then that's a different product, right? And, you try and buy success. One of their players this week was bought for £73 million. His weekly wages will be more than our salary bill for a year, probably. So I think it's just a great underdog. And that's what sport does, right? It allows you to go out for 90 minutes, and if you put your heart and soul into it, there's a chance. It's a long shot, but there's a chance that you can come out on the winning team, and that's the beauty of this, right? So it's a real underdog story. But we've got a game model, we've got a plan, and they won't beat us for heart, they won't beat us for passion tomorrow. And we just might have a chance. It's a real David Vert Goliath story, and everyone loves an underdog.
Well, Jason Stockwood is going to be delighted, isn't he? He said it there. They're not going to beat them for heart. They're not going to beat them for spirit. We saw it from the players. We saw it in the stadium as well. They are the ultimate, Nigel, underdog story.
Ultimate story, credit to them. Because sometimes when you see these type of situations, you think, okay, it's a team that's just going to be camped in. The so-called bigger club's going to have a lot of possession and fun there, and they're just going to defend with their lives for 90-plus minutes. That wasn't the case today. Like Tony said, Grimsby deserve all the credit because they played football, they played without fear, they played with passion, and they played with heart. They did the basics that Manchester United players thought they were too good to do, and they deserve it. That should be the story. It should be all about Grimsby and how they applied themselves in that football match today.
And now the good news, Grella, is they move on to the next round of the Carabao Cup, where they could face another Premier League team, and the journey continues for them.
It's why we love cup sets. It's why we love football in particular, is because it's like, I have kids, right? When they go to school in the morning, I always tell them, work hard, be strong, be good to people. And that's how Grimsby won the game. They were strong. They worked hard. They were passionate about what they were doing. And they beat them straight up with all the good stuff that we talk about, that we want to see, not only just in football, but in life and in sports. So this was just such a good moment. It was an enjoyable match of football. Nobody believed more than Jason Stockwood that we spoke to yesterday. He said they're not going to outcompete us, not at home, not against 9,000 Grimsby fans. What a story. And Man United and Ruben Amorim have so much to sort of untangle and unwind and figure out, because at the moment, I mean, they're all over the place. It just looks so bad from start to finish. I mean, you highlight again, and I'll say it again, the fact that Šeško doesn't take up a $99 million player, doesn't step up to take the penalties, hiding. At one point we said, is it going to be Onana or Šeško first? And you could go through the performances of every single player, Cunha in particular.
Which, by the way, Grell, you're a striker. How does that even happen? How are you a striker and you're 100 million? Wouldn't you be...
You get paid for that.
Wouldn't you be embarrassed?
That's like you coming into work and saying, no, I don't want to ask the questions today.
It depends on how they do their penalties, though, because most of the time in those situations, managers will ask you who wants to take one, and it's about confidence. So they'll go through a list of, I'll take one, and then do it. But for me, if I'm the manager there and I'm looking, and then I don't see my striker to be the first one or two to put their hands up, I would be a bit worried. I'll be a bit disappointed, but you're not going to force him to take a penalty if he doesn't. That's more telling on him than really it is for the manager or the coaches.
But Nigel, you also know, just how relentless the English media is. I mean, does this just, it almost doesn't bode well, does it, Tony, for Šeško moving forward early on in his United days, for this to be another storyline along with the loss?
People will remember this. There's no doubt about it. And if I'm sitting there, if I'm I've never been a $99 million striker, so I have no idea. But I'm guessing that if the coach yelled out 5 names, I don't care how you choose them, and I wasn't on there, I'd be walking over to the coach. Well, the coach is sitting on a bench. Oh, coach, you brought me here to score goals. This is what I'm supposed to do, is to score goals. I'm here to put the ball in. Okay, it didn't happen during the game. This is my time to do it. I just don't get it. I'm with you. And I almost said when he walked up 10th, I did say to you, this is worse. Right? This is worse.
Right.
His confidence must be killed right now. He buried it, right? Good on him, because he actually a pretty good penalty kick. But
again,
I don't get it.
It goes to show about the whole thing we talk about attitude and how these players are leaders. You're a $100 million player. You've got to walk with a bit of swag and personality about yourself. Even if your confidence is low, you can't let anyone else see that. You've got to believe in yourself deep down. Some players that I've played with have never been worth 100 million, but I tell you what they never lacked is confidence on a football pitch. Even if they were having an absolute stinker, they will still say, I'm one of the best players on this pitch. That's the kind of attitude you have to have, and especially when you're playing for Manchester United. But him doing that, like you said, is very telling. But again, he'll buy himself a bit of time, because everyone's saying, he's one for the future, one for the future. It's the same thing we saw with Højlund. He was one for the future. It's just a mess.
This is not just another Man United rant, by the way. They've made history today. We have to stop for a second and really understand what happened here today. They lost to a 4th division side in England. They lost to Grimsby Town for the first time in their history. With the amount of money, over 200 million spent in the summer transfer window.
Just for the attacking three.
Just for the attacking three. And then there was Houdini performances everywhere. And then there was an actual Houdini event where Ruben Amorim hid in his own dugout while his team was taking penalties.
Would you be offended if you were a player, by the way, and you were looking around for your manager and you actually can't even see him because there was an assistant manager stood right in front of him as well, right? He was the one who was doing the whole penalty
thing. Yeah, the assistant manager was the one who was talking.
Would that rub you the wrong way?
I mean, I just look at it from the optics of leadership. I know about a good leader when I see one. I know someone who I can trust to be a leader, someone who I can go into war with. For me, it doesn't sit well, regardless of your superstition or not. And especially at the club that you're at, you're Manchester United, you need to be front and centre. This is what comes with the job. If you cannot handle it, you should have never signed up to be Manchester United, or sign up and then act surprised. Oh, this is a bigger job than I actually realised in the first place. You need to be up front and centre. You need to be there with your coaches so your players can see you, that you're with them. You sit in that does not sit well with me.
I think about just the cell in the dressing room right now. Right? Because you want proof of concept. You give guys ideas, you give them training methods, you do all this stuff, tactics, you write things on the board, you sit on the bench, I don't know how, and you're moving the tactical board around. We saw those images. But in the end, players, what do they want to know? That it's working. Right? There's nobody that can tell me right now that it's working. Now, what do you say in the dressing room tonight when Gardner and Vernon and McJanet and Warren and Pym, the goalkeeper, they just completely outplayed you? So how do you sell that to the dressing room? How do you sell that to players? Because you guys know, we've all been there, right? Oh, you've been there as well. At some point, when the manager loses that room, you're like, everything he says, you're like, in one ear, out the other ear.
100%, Tone.
It's pure jokes, though. In the 60th minute or 70th minute, you're away at Grimsby, and you're the manager at Man United, and you're moving magnets around, tactical magnets around. If you think he didn't have it, all you need to do is see that clip to think. I mean, this guy. And we talk again. Just quickly back to personality and character. You got to have personality and character to manage this team, and to manage big-time players, and to lead big groups like this in big organizations in any field, but especially at Man United. He doesn't have it, period. He hasn't shown it from day one to today, and we're talking about a big history for all the wrong reasons.
Communication hasn't been great. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's going to get sacked. It's not I've got no skin in that game. I don't care what happens to Manchester United manager or anything like that. I just know the standard of the club, the size of the club, when you play for that top 1% big teams, that this is what you're supposed to do. They're not meeting these standards. If they do choose to go away from him, I think for me the perfect replacement there, and I know some Crystal Palace fans might kill me, is Oliver Glasner. I think what the job of Oliver Glasner has done at Crystal Palace right now is telling of a manager's gone in there, got them to silence system.
Yeah, but Nigel, I suppose the problem is, yes, Manchester United is one of the most prestigious clubs in world football, no doubt about it. But if you are an up-and-coming manager, are you looking at Manchester United thinking, yeah, this is a good place for me, I can turn things around here?
I think for me, with what we've seen of Oliver Glasner and these two clubs, that he has that personality and character.
Why would he want to leave right now, Chris? It's not great. In Europe. Why would he want to leave to go to this mess?
This is the problem is it's not great at Crystal Palace, and the thing with Man United is that it always has that aura, that draw for players or managers. That's just the reality of it. Right about now, I would say there's starting to be more question about Amorim and things. I said to you, when I look at Onana and everything that's happened in the situation with him, I said, in my personal opinion, just from my football experience, that's a goalkeeper right now that's got no confidence whatsoever. he has no confidence, and again, with how he's been treated at the start of the season, with Bayern there starting ahead of him, and then you come into a cup game against Grimsby, you're the main star from last season. I'm not saying he's perfect, he's had a few stinkers, but when you look at the penalty misses and stuff, and they say, everything about him just says he's lost all confidence. And it was the same thing with Højlund last season. There's a moment where, as players, your manager's the one that's responsible for getting you to believe in yourself and have that confidence. What one Man United player could we say today had a good game today and was unlucky?
Can't pick one.
Yeah. Well, it's been over 10 years since Manchester United have been eliminated in the second round of the Carabao Cup. The last time was back in 2014 to MK Dons. Here's just a reminder of some of the most notable cup sets you can see. Manchester United crash out, though. Nigel, you said it at the top of the show when we came in. This has got to be one of the biggest upsets in this competition we've seen, isn't it?
It's the biggest, Poppy. It's the biggest, because you have to look at what we just witnessed. Grimsby played well. When it's not a lucky win for them, they played well, they deserve to take Manchester United to penalties, and overall you'd have to say they deserve to win the football match. We're not talking about a game where we just watched Manchester United create numerous chances and missing simple chances. It never happened. They were outfought, outcompeted, 15 tackles to 5, even one of the stats. And I'm not a big stats guy, but I didn't need to see that to know that Grimsby were winning tackles and putting bodies there. This is the biggest because of the manner of the loss. This is the biggest loss, in my opinion, for me, for Manchester United.
I suppose that's why it feels so dark, because a lot of Manchester United fans after the first day of the Premier League, Grella said, well, we played well against Arsenal. We didn't get the result, but the signs were there. It was progressive football. It was improved from last season. This feels like 10 steps back in a lot of ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is 10 steps back, too. And it's always going to come down to results. And that's what we're talking about. It's not the project, right? So Liverpool the other day, they were against Newcastle. They got battered against Newcastle. Newcastle were fantastic. Then Newcastle lost Gordon, right? They had a red card. And Liverpool conceded 2 goals. Up a man, they conceded 2 goals. They go on and win the game with couple seconds left in the game. Nobody's talking about it. No one's saying, oh, Liverpool, they were a disaster against Newcastle. They conceded 2 goals with a man up in that game, which should never happen to a top team. Nobody cares. Nobody's talking about it because the 16-year-old scores at the end of the day. Boom, they get 3 points. Boom, no problem. We'll fix that. It goes under the carpet. No one talks about it anymore, right?
No, but it's because they find a way. Because when you say that, you've got to be careful because Liverpool are defending champions. If they weren't defending champions, then maybe the conversation goes somewhere else. But when they're defending champions, and
but we're not talking about those mistakes, though, because they won the game.
Yeah,
because they found
a way. That's
exactly.
what people are going to say, whether they like it or not. Is they found a way. They're defending champions' resilience.
If I open up a business, at the end of the day, I show up to the business to collect my money. I want to know what happened at the bottom line. I don't want to know X, Y, and Z. Oh, yeah, but we had a really good week advertised. No, I just want to know what did we do at the end of the week? Are we making money here or not? Mm-hmm. And that's what it is. This is at the highest levels. You know, do you think Sir Alex Ferguson's Man United always played pretty football? No, but they won games. And again, for me, it comes down to the personality of the players and the guys in charge. The guys from the very top in charge, making these big decisions to hire a guy inexperienced, unproven, like Ruben Amorim at these levels of Premier League levels. And Amorim himself doesn't have the quality and the character. And then you look at the leaders in the team. Like we named the leaders before, all those past captains and all those big personalities that won't let these things happen. They stop it before it happens. They don't have any of it, not at the highest level, not at the manager level, and not at the player level.
Do you know what something else that sticks out to me when we talk about Ruben Amorim is how many times have we seen Manchester United managers since Sir Alex have to come out in the media and speak following a loss? I always think about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer speaking after one in particular. And they said, of all the Manchester United days you've been a part of, where does this one rank? And he actually almost started crying and said, this is the lowest. And it feels like we're getting to the bottom so many times, time and time again. But what can Ruben Amorim even say, Nigel, at this point? If you're walking into the changing room after tonight and you're hearing Grimsby celebrating above you, what even comes out of your mouth? I'm sure Grimsby has a very small, intimate, old-school dressing room, very tight showers. I think Ruben Amorim needs to go in there and look into the mirror and wash his face and look himself in the mirror. Because what can you say? You're responsible for it. These are the players. You picked the team. You changed the team. You didn't get a performance. You may change at half-time. Still, things don't get better. This one's on him. What can he, that's your job, is to manage these players. This one is on you. I don't think he can. Say? So what if you're him?
He's very comfortable. What can he say? He has to be honest. Come out and actually be honest. We are not nowhere near meeting the standards of what it means to represent this football club. And it's my job to get these players to those standards. Right about now, I'm not doing my job good enough. These players need to do better. Come out and say that. Fine. Who can argue against that?
There's a bigger problem, though, right? Because I'm just looking at the list, and I wanted to make sure I had it. Was it David Moyes? Was it his problem? Was it Louis van Gaal? Was it Jose Mourinho? You talk about having a younger manager. Okay, Jose won a cup, right? Was it Ole's fault? Was it Carrick? Okay, Rangnick, Eric Ten Hag? I mean, at some point, it's the 20-plus guys that you have just aren't the right guys. They've tried the big-name managers. Since Sir Alex Ferguson, they've had, as far as names, from top all the way to bottom, right?
Yeah.
They still, in the end, are coming to this in 2025.
Well, there's plenty of crazy stats, isn't there, after tonight's games for all the wrong reasons for Manchester United. And here's maybe another one that will surprise you. Old Trafford's capacity is 74,000, and the population of the entire town of Grimsby is just a bit more, 86,138. And they're going to be celebrating, aren't they? Not just tonight, but for quite some time.
We did it. Pick a cup set. I picked this game. Some people thought I was crazy. A few people work in this building, big Man United fans, called me a bit lunatic, but who's laughing now?
And you know what the even funnier thing is? Grella said, there's no chance. Today is going to be a training exercise for Manchester United.
Do you know what as well, Poppy?
I mean, who thought?
Grella said it yesterday as well about his Leeds. There's no chance Leeds are going to walk past Sheffield Wednesday again. Two in a row.
Plus 1,900 going into this.
Wow, you could have made some money. You love a bit of a good bookies odds.
Plus 1,900, that's big.
Onana, Tony, let's talk about him, the goalkeeper union. Obviously, it was a bit of a mixed bag, wasn't it, in moments? Because he scored his penalty at the end,
well,
but he
I
also...
hope that's not how we're going to judge him in the end. But yeah, you go with the mess. This one's a tough... I think this was the first penalty kick, right? This is... that one's... When it's behind you like that and it's wet, it's one thing. This is the one here. This was penalty kick number 13, right? After this is Mbeumo's miss. But this is the one for me that he has to make a play on, and he knows it. I think if he goes with one hand instead of two, he has a better chance. I understand two because it's wet, but at some point in 13 penalty kicks, right?
Yeah.
You got to make more than one save.
It's Padre Pio in goal. He's got a hole in his glove. It's going right through his hands.
This is what you call wet gloves from yesterday.
That is wet gloves. Yeah.
You said Ethan Horvath had wet. No, his gloves were dry. These were wet today.
Yeah.
His penalty he took, though, was pretty good.
Yeah, I know, but he's not really getting paid to put the ball in the back of the net. He's getting paid
I want to play for you one day.
You're Tony, like, you goalkeeper at the highest level. So tell me, when you watch him, do you see a lack of confidence and belief in him? How do you know when a goalkeeper doesn't have any confidence?
Look, I look at this team. You can say Onana, right? This is your starting goalkeeper all last year. Okay, had some issues, but you're putting Bayindir in, and you're killing his confidence. For me, Bayindir is not a goalkeeper for Manchester United. You mentioned Ben Sesko. I thought match day one, you put a guy like that in because you have the biggest excuse. You could say, okay, hasn't bedded into the team yet, I got to get him. But no, he's killed his confidence already too. You can go down the line, right? You mentioned today, we're having a conversation about Bruno Fernandes, who actually I thought came in second half and made a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
We're having a conversation about Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo, and those two guys competing for each other. Like, now you're killing, one by one, you're killing the confidence of the players. For me, that is so important for a manager. Well, vitally important.
He said that, and funny enough, that he made another statement now saying, I'm a big Mainoo fan, I don't want people to get it mistaken. And again, I'm thinking to yourself, you're Manchester United manager. You shouldn't be making these simple mistakes to the media. Certain things you keep to yourself, but you said it out there. It's going to get back to the players. And now the player's sitting there thinking, wait, I'm in competition for Bruno Fernandes. That's the club captain. So he knows already, I'm not going to win that. Why am I going to want to stay at Man United? And then now you have to take it back.
It's Bruno, on the other hand, thinking, I've been the lone bright spark for this team for so many months now, and for if not the entirety of
I don't think Fernandes gets it either. Yeah, he's a good player and he performs well and he has big moments in the team for sure. But I don't think he gets it either because he shoots the penalty, right? It's a casual penalty, very good penalty. He scores it and he's giving it all, like he's giving it this look like easy for me, you know.
Very arrogant. Very arrogant.
He's not thinking. He's not thinking about the situation that the club is in at that moment in time. He's thinking about, oh, I'm a great player. I'm a technical player. It shows you that how much he doesn't understand, I think, what...
Lack of awareness
of what the room is, you know. And then he did it again because the penalties went around and he scored again and he was like doing it. You're away from home at Grimsby. You're about to lose a match. You're about to make history for all the wrong reasons.
You're being taken to penalties by
You need to be more like, hey... Let's go, boys. Come on. Doing what you can to win. It's not about you in that moment. And I just want to go back to Onana because that's how we started the segment. Can you imagine being Beppe Morata, who's the CEO or the guy who buys the players at the sporting director at Inter, when they called you and said, hey, we want Onana for 70 million, I'd be like, put everything down. Get him over there. Can we get him on that? I'd put him in a slingshot and slingshot him over there.
I'll take 65. You can
And you know, now he's
but he
there.
was good in Champions League that year.
He was great.
Okay.
He was great.
But now, again, you didn't need to pay that much for Onana. I think that was totally unnecessary. So that's where really the root of this stuff comes. Is really bad business for a lot of these players. 99 million for Šeško. How much did they pay for Højlund?
There's always going to be, but to be fair, Grella, there's always going to be a premium when Manchester United come knocking. You're a businessman, you love money. If you owned a football club and Manchester United came in for one of your players, you're not going to do them any favours. So that's just the reality. The problem in question is the recruiting of the players. That's been the problem, the ones that they've gone to go and buy. That's been the biggest problem.
But what do you do with this group now?
There's nothing,
right?
you have to find a manager to motivate them.
But you've given Amorim, because he says he wants to play in this system, right? Okay, you want to play in this system, so you got to give him the players. So now you let him, what was the number,
229
okay.
for 4 players.
Just this summer,
By the way, you just gave him over $200 million to build a team the way he wants to build it. Now you're going to go change, because not a lot of people play like this. Like
I know, but
that's like living at my house with my wife.
But Tony, this is
like the renovations we do every day.
The next biggest thing Man United have to do is pick the right manager. You have to find a manager that is able to adjust and adapt and use that squad and get the best out of it. I already kind of put my name out there who I think could actually do it and get the best out of these players, because it's a good attacking lineup. Defensively, they're still questionable. The back three thing doesn't work. The wing backs doesn't work. You have to find a manager to say, right, this is what we're going to play. We're going to start getting results. We're going to start getting confidence and belief in you, because there's a lot of players that I feel have lost confidence now with Ruben Amorim. Regardless of his messaging he's putting out there, the eyes don't lie. I can see what these players are doing on the pitch, and for me, it's just not there. And we talk about the players that they spent. Where was Cunha today? Oof. Where was Cunha today? Way to Grimsby Town, the money you play for, and he's a talented player. But I saw nothing of him today as well.
So we're talking about all of these talented players, essentially, Poppy, right, that aren't living up to expectation. That falls on the manager.
Yeah.
Because your job as a manager, right? If your player's a level 8 out of a 10, you got to get an 8 all the time out of them, and then every now and then you got to get a 9 out of them in a game. I feel like if that's the case, we're getting like 6s and 7s and maybe even less from the group. But that's the manager's job. Sir Alex Ferguson, everyone will tell you, right? It's not always about the X's and O's.
Nope.
Right? What did he do? He maximized every single player that he had in that roster for years and years. That's why we talk about him as one of the best managers, if not the best manager ever.
And through the different generations that he did it. And I know players who played under Sir Alex Ferguson, they told you how he managed. It's not one shoe fits all. Yeah. How I treat Tony is nothing to do with you, Grella. You just got to respect me as the manager, the decision I make, and we winning. Or as long as we win. Whatever Tony has to do to get ready for Saturday, don't worry about that. You do what you have to do to get ready for Saturday. Because if you don't perform on Saturday, I'm going to come for you, I'm going to come for him. And that's how you kind of build it in the right way. It's not one shoe fits all.
I mean, there's just so many unknowns as well, isn't there? Not just Onana, who is in 1 minute, out the next minute. We saw it with Rasmus Højlund last season. You're not part of our plans. Actually, yes, you are. You're going to be our guy. Xerxes comes in. He doesn't know where he stands. There's too many players.
There's a bomb squad still.
Don't know where they fit in or where they stand, do they? With this Manchester United team. We did see, though, a funny moment coming into today after we saw all the upsets yesterday. You've been pecked by the chickens, Nige, didn't we? After, was it Bradford?
Bradford City.
Bradford City. Well, today, Grimsby You've been slapped by the fish. Oh. What a moment for Grimsby Town, and no one is enjoying it more than their goalkeeper, Christy Pym. Here he is.
An absolutely historical night for you. How are you processing the fact that you just beat one of the biggest clubs in the world?
Yeah, it's not sunk in yet. I'm a Man United fan, so I'm half fuming a little bit.
Are you?
Yeah, I am, yeah. So, nights like this, what you play football for, so yeah, beautiful.
He's a United fan.
I love it.
Would you have ever said that, Grell, in that moment, admitted to being a fan of Manchester United?
It depends who would have paid him the most, then Grella would have sold his soul. Highest bidder, Grella would always sell his soul. Not a problem.
I don't know about that. What a game he played, though. My God, I don't think he knows how good he played until he goes back and watches some of the saves he made. I mean, they were incredible saves, right? Reaction saves, the one down low.
That was the biggest one. The Maguire right before the end. I think for all people have to understand watching from home is it's some of these players, like we said already, this is going to be the biggest game of their career. This is going to be the game that they remember for the rest of their lives. So sometimes you get caught up in the moment of like, you may never dream of getting to that level and playing against Manchester United. So for them, it's like you live for these moments and you've got no shame in admitting that you're a Manchester United fan. I think that's what some fans at home have to understand that this might be their moment. So credit to him, but he had a fantastic game. Fantastic game.
Can you imagine Ruben Amorim? He wants to build with three, right? He wants to play with those wing backs, and these guys are trying to work on this, and they're all like, and he's on the sideline, and he's moving magnets around. And Grimsby Town just went out and went bang, 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 and kicked them and tackled them. And then the rain came down and there's lightning coming out and they're getting kicked all over the field. They're getting outrun. They're getting abused. Can you imagine? They're probably thinking, oh, wait, where's the manager want me to be in this situation? We haven't worked on this when another team just beats us physically in every single department. We haven't worked on that before. So it was the perfect sort of match situation for a team that's like working on this like way to play and all these expensive players, and this other group of men came out and said, no, we'll go toe-to-toe with you, and we're going to be pretty nasty today. And we're going to do all the things that the game was built on, like the fundamentals of the game. Like, you got to run, you got to kick people, you've got to be organized, you've got to track runners. Like, all the things that players like me don't like to do, players like him made a career out of it, one of the best guys to do that.
Nigel would have been sliding around all over
the fundamentals of it.
Today was
the rain, you were going crazy today.
I hope you know I could play a bit, tackling was my strong point, but I could bop it around.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. You would have loved a rainy night, though, wouldn't you?
I would have loved that night. Oh, when the rain starts coming and everything, just you could time a tackle and just use the momentum and just slid off the grass. Yeah, you could time it properly, still win the ball and leave a little bit.
Even the way, it's funny to say this because he's on TV right now, but the way he communicates, even in the build, like you could see the way he watches a game. He's literally sometimes he's talking to the screen as if he's still playing. And it's interesting because I don't think Man United have that guy that say, hey, you come in, hey, you go there, hey, well done on that one, good aerial duel, whatever. Organizing on those. I don't think Man United have a guy that can do that. And the team in Grimsby, my God, they were so good.
Do you know
would you take Cameron Gardner, the 22, 19 years old?
Yeah.
Youth Academy product.
100%.
Big engine on the
and this goes to the conversation about Tony as well. When we say about young players playing as quickly as you can at that young age, you just put yourself in the biggest shop window. How many people around the world will watch that Man United game today and people are going to remember him for how hard he worked and the great game that he had, that now scouts will probably be going to scouting him every single week. This is what it's like about being a young player.
Is this a new epitome of a cold, rainy night in Stoke? Is that what they would say in England? What's the saying? Isn't that it?
Yeah.
The cold, rainy night in Grimsby.
In Grimsby,
where Manchester United
plenty of fish and chips for everyone
today. Out of the Carabao Cup, that's right.